out there. We're going to get started with the afternoon session. I have the privilege of introducing someone who's become a good friend over the past couple years. I first heard about Jeremy Cowart when he put a post up on Instagram that said he was diagnosed with FA. And, I did what we all do when that happens, and I looked up his website, and it said, Jeremy Cowart is an award-winning photographer. He's an artist and entrepreneur whose groundbreaking work spans multiple creative disciplines. He's known for his captivating portraits of celebrities like Taylor Swift, the Kardashians, and Emma Stone. And so I was like, whoa, who is this guy? He's a crazy celebrity. He's untouchable. But then I visited him at his studio, and I had a little portrait session with him. And what you don't read in his bio is that he connects with his subjects, and he connects on a level that is so intimate and so unique, and he does that in every interaction that he has. And so I love this guy, and I'm proud to introduce him. Come on up, Jeremy.
All right.
To share your story.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Right, man.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. Love this guy. Look at, our slides are not up. Look at us right there. There we are. All right. I'm so glad to be here. This is my first time, as he said. I have FA. There I am yesterday doing the race with Kyle. I didn't look nearly as cool as he did. I didn't get the memo about handlebar mustaches and mohawks. Anyway, we had a blast. I was a mess, though, because I'd never ridden a trike. I had a flat tire halfway through. My helmet fit like a little teacup on the back of my head. I think Kyle probably played a prank on me and gave me a kid's helmet. Just kidding. But we had a blast yesterday. So yeah, I love being here. Y'all feel like already a long-lost family that I finally get to meet for the first time, because I was diagnosed 8 years ago with FA. I'm 48 now, and I was diagnosed at 40. Let's see, my clicker works here. Almost. Do I point it at Kyle? Is he the source? Do I turn it? Did I hit the? Nope. And green button. Oh, so there's this. I thought I would start with a little comedy for y'all. So having FA, y'all that are in a wheelchair, you are so smart to stay safe and to stay in your wheelchair, because I am a danger to society. And I have a couple stories to prove that. So last year, I was going to the movies with my son. He's 19. And we're walking in the back of the movie theater. It's Friday night, sold out show, Tom Cruise movie, and it's packed. And literally, and we're late, so it's full. And so we're walking in, the back of the theater where the trash cans are and the popcorn. You go either way to go into the theater. So we're walking, and he's wearing slides, like the sandal kind of slides. And I'm drunk walking behind him, And I accidentally step on his slide, and he goes flying into strangers. And he was so mortified. He's such a sweet, humble kid, but he hates to be embarrassed. And so he was like so angry at me and just like, Dad, that was so embarrassing, blah, blah, blah. Just like so embarrassed. And so then we're in the theater. We're walking up the stairs, and you get your wide stairs with a railing in the middle. You've got people over here, people over there. So we get to row in, and he's like, Dad, you got to go back to the stair. And so he's like, you got to go to M. And I've got the railing right here. And so I decided to take a step backwards, down the stairs. My foot misses the stair, and somehow my body weight was resting on the rail, And I did a flying cartwheel over the railing, and I threw his large cherry Coke into the air while doing so. And this is while he's telling me how embarrassing I am. And so I did a flying cartwheel, landed on my head and neck on the ground, cherry Coke all over me. My legs landed in the lap of the people, sitting over here. And so thankfully, I survived that fall. Then last year, y'all, I promise these are true stories. Last year, we're on a plane home from Africa. We did a mission trip over there. And it's the middle of the night. We're somewhere over the ocean, and everyone's asleep. And having FA, my legs are killing me. I need to stand up and move my legs. And so I'm on the aisle seat. Right here's the aisle, and there's a lady sitting across from me here and another lady here. And so my son, again, I'm with my son, ironically. And so I stand up after sitting for like 8 hours. And of course, having FA, I fall. And as I fall, I'm turning this way, and I fling my left arm to catch the chair right here to catch myself, right? But my hand, which is kind of clenched like this, misses the chair, and I punch a lady in the face. So just clocked her. She's dead asleep, just whack. But y'all, it gets so much worse. On my way down, because my left hand is stuck in a lady's face, my right hand is bracing for the floor, so I'm kind of flying face first. My face lands in the lap of the lady behind her. Yeah. So now I have two amazing African women who don't speak English ready to throw me off the plane. It was, thankfully, I made it my own sign language to apologize, and I survived. But yes, having FA, I've got some stories, y'all. Anyway, so just thought we needed, to get through this, we need to laugh at ourselves, don't we? Thankfully, my kids, they keep me so humble. They're always mocking me, laughing at me, making fun of me, and somehow I love it. But I am here today to talk about light. Sorry, now it's working. And can we get the presenter notes slides up here? I don't know if that's possible, y'all. Hey, there we go. Amazing. Let's see. Oh, weird, but it's a slide ahead. Interesting. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Whatever you just did. So I work with light every day. It's literally my day job. I love working with light. This year alone, I've done over 3,500 photo shoots of people like yourselves. I have a brand new studio in Franklin, Tennessee called the Portrait Lab, where I do 60-second portraits of the public. One last housekeeping thing. My clock says 52 minutes. I'm pretty sure I only have 45, right? So I don't know if y'all want me going that long, but just FYI, I do have a lot to say, but I want to be respectful of my time. So I shoot over 150 portraits in 1 minute, and in every single image, the lighting, the backdrops, and the editing are all different. And I'm pretty sure no one else in the world is doing this. It's basically ADHD in physical form. And then I invented this thing called a lightimation. It's a time lapse of light. It's pretty crazy. And then I created these things called a light-a-gif. It's just animated GIFs of light. I collage light into these crazy collages, says Mr. Stapleton, and some flowers. I do these things that are called light-twos. It's like face tattoos where I do like art therapy and people write on their face. It's really, really powerful. We should have done these this year. I'm going to keep moving. And then I coined a term called a lightograph, which is the evolution of light through a still photo. This is my daughter here. The light is moving through the photo. And then years ago, it's kind of random, but my lightographs were featured in a freaking auction with Andy Warhol and Andy Leibovitz, and now it's all downhill from there. I can never top that. But when we were making this, my daughter said, "So wait, you just get to play with light all day?" And I said, "Yeah, never thought about it that way, but I do." So last year, I took playing with light to the next level. I did a performance art project called Auris in front of an audience where I created 10,000 self-portraits in 20 minutes. It was wild. Here's a behind-the-scenes look. And hundreds of images projecting onto me, around me, behind me. And as I sat there absorbing all the light, I realized something. When it comes to light, the human body and a camera body work exactly the same way. So when y'all think of light, what do you think of? There's the obvious definition of light. You can see me, I can see you. But what if the idea of light went beyond the physical, scientific, visible version that we all understand? What else could be considered light? I think light can ultimately be anything that we let enter our senses, ideas, experiences, moments. It's all light. Let's take a look at the inside of a camera for a second. Hang with me. I'm not going to get too nerdy, but when we shoot, we aim our lens to what we want to capture, and light travels through the lens and hits something called the sensor. The sensor, every camera has a sensor, a perfectly clean slate behind the lens. It's super sensitive to light. Dust and dirt can forever damage a sensor, so you have to protect it at all costs, otherwise your image won't turn out. And the same thing happens with humans, with us. Light, ideas, experiences, emotions, they enter through our eyes and our ears, and then it hits our sensor, which is our heart, the most fragile part of our body is what we have to protect, and then it sends a signal to our brain to process. And at the end of that, an image comes out of us. So whether it's a body, a camera body, or a human body, light passes through us to form an image. And the higher quality of light, the higher quality of the resulting image. It's true for cameras, and it's true for us. So what I mean by image, what does your daughter think of you? What do your parents think of you? How do you make your friends feel? Do your colleagues like you? Do your followers enjoy following you? How do you make your friends feel? One more housekeeping note. Can y'all make that presenter notes font a little smaller at the plus and minus thing right there? Thank you. Just one click smaller. Thank you. Perfect. So the light entering your sensor, your heart, is forming your image every single day. My self-image as a kid was awful. It was always, I can't to anything. I literally thought I was stupid, thought I couldn't do anything. But my parents redefined that image. They were always encouraging and pouring quality light into my sensor. And so I listened to them. I nearly failed college photography. I literally made a D in college photography, and much to my photo professor's surprise, things worked out. I landed an agent early in my career, and ever since then, it's been quite the journey. I photographed Lauren Daigle and Logan and Mark and Brittany and Molly and Russell and Kelly and Chris and Carrie and Gwyneth and Ryan and Tyler and Courtney and Kim and Sting and Dolly and Spike and Emma and Stan and Barack and the Pope and Taylor. It's been a pretty wild journey. Sorry, my how you doing? My toes are hurting a little bit from all the names I just dropped. Sorry about that. But this year at the ACM Awards, I got to do some pretty cool backstage. Photographed all the celebs using my crazy process. Anyway, that was fun. And so a few years into my career, I was named the most influential photographer on the internet by Huffington Post. But that image being formed wasn't really me. I didn't want to be known as like the rock star photographer guy, so I started pouring myself into humanitarian projects. I did wildfire relief projects, earthquake relief projects, did a Rwandan genocide project, even launched an initiative photographing the homeless that became a global movement where we did this all over the world. So thankfully, I was able to reshape the image that was being formed of my career and who I am. These days, when people ask me about my work, it's not about the celebrities, it's about the humanitarian projects that bring light to the stuff that matters the most. Poverty, homelessness, forgiveness after war, hope, and so much more. By the way, I take no credit for this. I give all the credit to the quality light in my life. My parents, my kids, my wife, my siblings, the community I was raised in, now the FA community, crazy, high quality light. But back to literal lighting for a second. As a photographer, the most important decision I make is the type of light I'm going to use based on the end result that I want. And so we use things like gobos and strobes and projectors and all kinds of different real nerdy tools. And similarly, we have our own types of light in life. Our family, our friends, our loved ones, our coworkers, our social media feeds that we're looking at all day, our TV, our Netflix queue. And there's different types of light. Like one of the types of light I actually really like to use is a moody light called dappled light. And it's when the light is just barely getting through. And I know this room knows that. FA is a hard battle to fight. And there are some days where that light is barely getting through. In my own life, I've got 2 adopted kids. It's been a really hard journey. I've lost my mom. I've lost my brother. FA obviously has all kinds of challenges. And then there's something called bounce light on a more positive note. My favorite kind of light is bounce light. It's when everything is just, when light is just bouncing off everything. Like when you're walking downtown New York or Chicago and the light just looks weird. It's because the sun is hitting a building and reflecting off and hitting another one. It's just kind of like this crazy light thing happening. And I like to think that it's rooms like this where we're all here excited to see each other, excited to exchange ideas and new research and new ideas for fundraising. Like this, to me, is a great example of bounced light. So yeah, it's very much who you surround ourselves with. I've always loved this quote, small minds discuss people, average minds discuss events, great minds discuss ideas. I just love being around idea people, no matter where they are in life. If you want to pick my brain and discuss dreams and projects and ideas, nothing makes me feel more alive than when we get to discuss ideas. Then y'all might have heard of us talk about hard and soft light before, photographers. And so it's really easy to think about, like the sun on a bright sunny day is actually a very hard light. I mean, yes, the sun is massive, but in comparison to the big blue sky, it's just a real small dot up there, And that's a hard light. These spotlights are on me right now are hard. They're very hard lights. But a cloudy day, you've got the sun that's being diffused by this big white, heaven of clouds, and it's just giving you this nice, soft, diffused light. Even in this room, these chandeliers, they're shooting soft light up in the ceiling, and that's creating a very nice kind of glow in the room. That's what we call soft light. It's also why everybody loves shooting their selfies in the car. It's super diffused, soft light. You've got the sun just kind of overhead, and all the light is filling in from around. Have you ever had a major fight over text or DMs with a loved one, somebody you really love? Like, it's bad. It's easier to say all the terrible things because you're not face-to-face. You become a keyboard warrior, and you're just going crazy, letting all your emotions out. And later, you're swirling in regret because you realize how much you love that person. And had you had the conversation face-to-face, it would have gone a lot differently, gone a lot better. That's hard and soft light. You can't hear tone and see facial expressions over text. Like the sun, it's far away, it's unflattering, and it reveals our shadows. But resolving conflict over coffee is just like soft light. It's up close and it diffuses the harshness, the shadows vanish. I'm sure you've heard by now people's lives being changed after they took an extended break from their phones, right? And it's really simple. Their quality of light changed. Everything went from hard light to soft light. So I want to talk about social media for a second because it dominates our lives, but it's not good or bad. I get annoyed when people say it's either. It's all about the accounts you follow, the individual accounts. I recently went on Instagram and I went through all 1,700 accounts that I follow, and I attached an emotion to every single account. And it went something like this: joy, rage, humor, fear, inspiration, lust, envy, hope, entertainment. You get the idea. It's crazy, by the way, the envy is verified. It's crazy. Sorry. I got dad jokes all day, y'all. We are not designed for this. We're not designed to process this. If I gave you a burrito right now, I know y'all just ate, but if I gave you all a burrito, and I said, in this burrito, it's full of grapefruit, sauerkraut, some mayonnaise mixed in with some wasabi, some black licorice, throw some Pop Rocks in there, some peppers, would y'all eat that? No, you wouldn't eat it. Not in a million years. Some of you are saying yes, and that's disturbing. And that's why we can't be friends. Or how about this? What if we try listening to every type of music at once? Hip-hop, country, pop, classical, EDM, and jazz, all at the same time. Have you ever done that? Well, you're about to. Here we go. Horrible, right? I'm going to go on record and say it's the worst sound you've ever heard. Now let's listen again while looking at things, while looking at images of things you can't afford, puppies, houses bigger than yours, parties you weren't invited to, soldiers coming home, people more in love than you, every opinion you could possibly disagree with, talents you don't have, fail videos, cats, thirst traps, recipe videos, politics, tattoo ideas. We'll throw in some motivational quotes. You ready for this? And then we try to go to sleep at night. Right? Like, this is literally what we're doing to our brains. Young people, this is why us old people talk so lovingly about any era before phones. Up close and personal was all we knew. We weren't frying our brains every day. It was all soft light. It's no wonder depression and suicide are at all-time highs. It's no wonder they're warning us of an epidemic of mental illness coming. So what do we do? Of course, one idea is to quit social media, but I'm not the quit social media guy. I love it. I used to hate it, but here's how I changed that. As a test, I went on Instagram, and I just muted or unfollowed all the accounts that triggered negative emotions. It took a minute, but it's been so worth it. So now Instagram is great. For me, it's like abstract paintings that inspire me, sports, ADHD memes, kittens, of course, tons of golden retrievers, people being idiots. I love it. It's great. Did you know that pointing a laser at a camera sensor can actually destroy it by shining light at a high intensity in a focused beam? Well, speaking about high intense focus, what are we doing to our sensors? It's crazy, right? So please, help you. Mute or unfollow all the negativity that is not good for you, for your peace of mind, for your sanity, for the love of all things good and great. Mute or unfollow the negativity. You are in control. The algorithms are not out to get you. They're learning from you, and you get to tell them what you like. You are the curator of the light entering your sensor. So now that you know how to curate the accounts you follow, take that same approach to the rest of your life. The people you hang out with, your Netflix queue, your job, your diet, your schedule. As Jim Rohrer famously said, you're an average of the 5 people closest to you. But I would say you're an average of the top accounts you follow on socials, an average of the top shows that you watch. So now let's chat about shutter speed. Are y'all familiar with the term shutter speed? It's how long the shutter of the camera opens and allows light to hit the sensor. Your shutter opened the moment you were born, and it will close the moment you die. When our shutter finally closes, that image is complete, our legacy is set. The life we've lived, the light we've allowed in, will be the final picture we leave behind. So take a minute and think about your crush, your ex, your dad, your mom. Isn't it interesting how an image forms instantly, whether it's a visual, a feeling, a memory? Now consider the lifetime of light that entered their sensor to form that image. That consideration, by the way, is called empathy. I lost my mom in 2020. When I think of her, I just hear face and sweet hug, and the word selfless is what comes to mind. She had a very damaged sensor. She was the youngest of 7, was sexually abused by her own family, but she changed that trajectory. I don't have a single negative memory from my childhood. A horrible, damaging light in her sensor converted to beautiful light in mine. Strongest woman ever. Now let's look at this image of my dad, also my hero. Like my mom, he poured amazing quality light into my sensor. I created this image of him with my R5, and I realized something nerdy. This camera shoots 45 megapixel images. I don't know the word megapixel meant millions. And so that means the sensor produces one image made up of 45 million squares. So watch this. If we zoom in, and then further, you're literally looking at 45 million squares. They're tiny, but together they tell a story. Recently, out of curiosity, I asked ChatGPT, I said, how many minutes are in a lifetime? Let's say I lived to 85. The answer blew me away. 45 million minutes in a lifetime. The same number of minutes in a long life as there are pixels in this image. Think about that. 45 million pixels of light hitting a sensor to form an image, and 45 million minutes of different experiences and emotions to form your image. Some of those minutes are highlights: the day you got married, held your child for the first time, the goals you achieved. Then there's the mundane minutes in between the highlights and the shadows, the brief interactions, the strangers, the meals, the driving. Those are equally important in the bigger picture. Then, of course, the dark pixels, the losses, the failures, the regrets. They add depth and contrast. Without them, the image would be lifeless. The light needs the dark to truly shine. So another reminder, we get to curate and decide on the light that hits us to create our image and be seen. My question is, what do you want them to see? So you're also the light. You're not only protecting your sensor, but you are the light in other sensors. Light gives clarity. In the midst of uncertainty, you live with a kind of clarity most people never find. You know what matters. You know what's worth your time and energy. Every day your presence helps others focus on what's real: courage, connection, and meaning. Light brings growth. Even in a body that resists progress, your spirit keeps expanding. You grow in grit, in wisdom, in compassion. You're proof that growth isn't always measured in miles walked, but in hearts open and perspectives changed. Your energy may look different now, but your light still fills the rooms. Light is a source of energy. A smile, a sharp joke, a hard-won morning, the way you keep showing up with heart and humor, that's energy the world desperately needs. Light represents a new day. Every day you wake up and try again, you pour light into your own sensor, and into everyone watching, whether it's getting out of bed, facing a tough appointment, or simply choosing to keep going. You're reminding the world this day is new, and so am I. Light brings warmth. You carry a warmth because you've known the cold. Your empathy runs deep. You know how to sit with pain. This is intense. How to listen without fixing. How to comfort others just by being present. That warmth is unforgettable. Just like fireworks, light is used to celebrate. You've learned to celebrate what most other people overlook. A good day, a slow walk, a belly laugh, a deep breath. You teach us all that joy is still possible, even now, maybe especially now. So just think about the untold number of sensors, family, friends, doctors, strangers, you are pouring light into simply by being here, by living this life with honesty and courage. Every time you choose to keep going, every time you show up with vulnerability or laughter or truth, your light is being captured, frame by frame, moment by moment. You may not always see it, but you are shaping something beautiful and powerful in the people around you. Your story is light, and it's changing the image of this world. It's okay, I have one more thing to tell you, but that's the end of that talk. Thank you all for listening. I'm about to launch, it's funny, I've never connected that talk with this project, but I'm launching a new project called If You're Breathing that I'd love for you all to follow online. But our culture, if you haven't noticed, is desperate for kindness and empathy and decency, and those accounts are going viral. And so I'm launching something where I'm going to be helping people in need through art, and then they won't know what we're doing, and then we're going to use the art that gets turned into products, merch and t-shirts and hoodies, and the funds raised will go back to them and fund their surgery, their operation, their whatever it is with the thing that we made together. And so my goal, my hope is to blow it up, to go viral over the next couple of years, and then use that as a way to raise FA awareness. And I could not be more excited. So it's like my secret mission to raise a lot of awareness for FA. But here's a trailer for what I'm doing.
Doom scrolling.
I can turn the volume up.
Political wars. Suicide rates climbing. A culture on fire. This is the story we're all scrolling through. And yet, the world is starving for hope. Hungry for stories that prove kindness still matters. Introducing If You're Breathing. A new blueprint for how humanity moves forward. Here's how it works. We find people in the middle of crisis. Families on the edge. Children fighting for life. Communities shattered by loss. We don't just give them aid. We create with them.
Get it? I'm so sorry. I forgot I had two songs playing over each other. I was like, maybe we can hear it, but we couldn't really hear it. So it's on Instagram. Y'all can see the trailer there. But thank you for having me. Y'all are my new family. So honored. Thank y'all. Thank you.